In 2016, one of the longest and heaviest snakes in Asia was found during construction work. It happened on the island of Penang in Malaysia. With the length of about 8 meters, approximately 26 feet, she weighed a quarter ton. During the clearing of the territory for a new property, builders noticed this giant reptile on a tree. They had no choice but to catch her. In order to prevent any casualties among the team or damage to the snake itself, this process dragged on for a long time. But as a result, the snake remained unharmed. You can see that her jaws were simply taped shut so that she could not bite anyone. After that, a group photo session was held with her. We hope that after the reptile was really released. It took 12 adult men to hold the snake in their arms. This snake broke the record, which has been held for years by a snake named Medusa. This is the name of the reptile, which is kept in Kansas City and has long been considered the largest snake that lives in captivity. Charming, don't you agree? Doesn't she deserve your like? In general, Medusa is not just a snake, but a real favorite of the house with the colorful name The Edge of Hell. This is an unusual place that has a reputation as a haunted house. The snake's owner, Larry Edgar, understands perfectly well that the reptile does not treat him with the devotion of a dog at all. The man takes care of the snake, but at the same time observes safety measures. First of all, the python should not feel any threat. Although he is often stroked, picked up, and photographed with him, there can be no sudden movements and, moreover, unpleasant touches. If such a snake decides to escape, then even 12 people will not hold it. Fortunately, so far there have been no accidents. Would you like to meet her as guests of the house The Edge of Hell? In addition to caution, Larry observes another rule: regular feeding. In the wild, snakes have to go without food for a very long time, which makes them aggressive. Larry feeds Medusa about 30 pounds or 14 kilograms of meat every week. This is far from the limit. The weight of the snake itself is approaching 300 pounds. A rare sumo wrestler can boast of such dimensions. Even when the snake is calm, it still takes about 12 to 15 adults to lift it. It is known that Larry fed the Medusa whole carcasses weighing about 90 pounds at a time. But it's too expensive, and taking long pauses between feedings is really risky. After all, you never know when exactly such a monster will get hungry. That is, you'll find out, but it'll be too late. Therefore, it is wiser to keep the Medusa always full. What's your name? If you have owned one of the longest snakes in the world, what would you call it? Answer us in the comments. Another huge python has been found and caught in Malaysia, which claims to be the largest snake on the planet. A controversial statement, but you see that the snake is so huge that it is difficult for an adult man to lift even his head alone. People who have caught the reptile claim that it is almost twice as large as other snakes of the same species. According to their calculations, the length of this python reaches 45 feet, 14 meters, and the record had to be fixed with the help of a special commission. Just to even catch the snake, pull it out, and measure it, this, it turns out, is not enough for the bureaucrats from the Guinness Book. Could you imagine? However, perhaps the size of the snake is really greatly exaggerated. However, its length still clearly exceeds 25 feet, 7.5 meters, which makes it one of the largest reptiles in the world that we know about today. You've been waiting for us to remember Australia, haven't you? A continent where even nettles can cause agony that will last for weeks, and one drop of the venom of a local spider will be enough for a whole entire herd of horses. There just had to be a huge snake monster. And it is here, of course, and it is the amethyst python. The largest snake in Australia reaches at least 20 feet, more than 6 meters in length. Although there are reports about individuals who grew up to 27 feet, 8.5 meters. Moreover, females are always much larger than males and can reach a weight of about 66 pounds, 30 kilograms. This snake prefers wet conditions. She loves swamps, ponds, where she swims perfectly. But still, she spends most of her time in the trees. In addition, it can also occur in rocky terrain where it hides behind rocks. Therefore, it is not as heavy as many other huge pythons, but probably the most beautiful. Its scales not only can vary greatly in color depending on the habitat conditions, but also have a bright metallic sheen. But it's better to admire this reptile at a respectable distance, don't you agree? The amethyst python relies most of all on its ability to feel the heat from afar, which is released by the organisms of animals, so it is most often to hunt mammals. For example, it attacked small kangaroos and other marsupials, and also sneaks into farms where he attacks pets. The huge length and mass, of course, is cool and solid, but the gradual increase of any animal species is much slower than the decrease due to unfavorable conditions. That is, it takes literally a couple of generations of living in poor conditions for a young snake to become much smaller than its ancestors. But if the living conditions improve again, the former dimensions will return only in 100 years. This means that animals grow to huge sizes only thanks to really good conditions. At least thanks to the presence of much more food. But why do snakes need such dimensions? A huge length is most often, though not always, needed by those snakes that hunt without poison. For them, size is a weapon, and the way they hunt is both frightening and fascinating. During hunting, such a snake either lies in wait for its prey, or slowly moves along the forest floor to remain unnoticed and sneak up to the strike distance. When prey is nearby, the snake makes a lightning throw. Instead of one pair of huge fangs, like venomous snakes, pythons and boas have a whole set of small but very sharp teeth that are bent inside of the mouth. She holds her prey with them. It is not easy to escape from the grip of such jaws, but the bite is only the first part of the strategy. As soon as the snake stuns its prey, it should immediately take advantage of its shock and pounce with its whole entire body to start wrapping around the victim. These snakes are unable to chase, so if the victim can escape or fight back, the reptile will be left without lunch. Therefore, the main task of the snake is to immobilize the enemy. And that's why so much weight and length are needed. The whole body of the snake is its weapon, because from the neck to the tip of the tail, it has very powerful muscles. With their help, a python or a boa constrictor shoots itself during a throw, and also wraps around the victim and strangles her. During the struggle with the victim, the reptile, of course, will not look for a long time for the neck of the prey to twist it. Instead, the snake completely captures the victim's body, and then the fight goes according to two scenarios. If the victim is not very big, then the snake crushes her ribs, so the main damage is caused by damage to internal organs. And if the victim is comparable to a snake in size or even larger than it, then the snake can no longer cause such injuries, and then it strangles for real and in a very unique way. The victim is in shock and breathes quickly to increase the blood flow and give the muscles more strength to resist. But each subsequent breath turns out to be smaller and weaker than the previous one, due to the fact that the snake squeezes the chest and stomach with each exhalation of the victim. Sooner or later, if the prey could not escape or injure the snake, it finds itself trapped. The lungs simply do not have enough space to straighten out on inspiration. Such a giant as an anaconda can catch and eat an entire adult crocodile in this way. And deer and capybaras are generally easy prey for her. Scary, don't you agree? Well, that's not the worst part, because these snakes only have prehensile teeth. They can neither tear off pieces of meat nor chew them, so they swallow the victim whole. To do this, the snake stretches the throat and slowly, with effort, pushes the prey into the stomach, where it will be digested by the predator's body for weeks. At the same time, such snakes can use their incredibly powerful muscles not only for hunting, but also for climbing trees. With its huge mass, an attempt to simply crawl up a vertical smooth column for a snake will obviously end in failure. Therefore, boas of different species have developed their own style of climbing trees. They encircle the pillars with rings, after which they consistently move upwards, pulling up each subsequent bend of their body. Of course, they do not harm the tree, but after all that you have learned about these creatures, it becomes very uncomfortable, and they definitely do not strangle trees. In any case, this manner of climbing allows even the largest specimens to climb closer to the crown of dense tropical forests, where they can hunt primates and birds. Water residents should not feel safe either. These snakes swim just perfectly. According to some reports, an anaconda can reach a speed of about 15 miles per hour, 25 kilometers per hour, in the water. That is more than twice as fast as the human swims. So if you are somewhere in South America splashing in the rivers and from afar you notice a snake swimming towards you with unhealthy interest, your only chance is to get out of the water as soon as possible. On land, you can easily escape from an anaconda if you notice it in time. There is no chance to break away in the water, unless, of course, you are on a motorboat. It is not surprising that these snakes like to spend time in the water. It supports their weight and allows them to feel much more free while hunting lizards and mammals that have come over here to drink. Pythons in Asia also swim with pleasure and can hold their breath for a quarter of an hour or more to dive and hunt underwater.
Alligators in America often hunt snakes. Their thick scales allow them to ignore the bites of the many venomous legless reptiles, and their teeth simply do not break through such armor. If a python or boa constrictor is at least the same length as an alligator, then it can overcome them also. He'll bite, squeeze in his jaws, and shake his head until he causes critical damage to the internal organs of the enemy. But this crocodile made a huge mistake with the choice of prey. Perhaps he just didn't fully understand how huge this snake is. It exceeds the dimensions of an alligator by about twice or even 3 times. The snake's skin is vulnerable to the jaws of the alligator, but the superiority in strength is too great. The snake pounces on its opponent with lightning speed and entangles him and starts to squeeze him into rings. The snake's body is an interweaving of elastic and very strong muscles that act harmoniously and turn it into a living steel cable that can tighten with incredible force. The alligator can't escape. The rings are tightening with every second, and the alligator is unable to breathe. But the snake isn't looking for its neck, so she squeezes her torso, and as a result, the pressure in the alligator rises, and its internal organs receive too much damage. Crocodiles, alligators, and caimans are close relatives. There are differences between these species, but they're very easy to confuse. These reptiles have long, squat bodies, powerful jaws with a whole set of large teeth, an armored hide, and a honed ability to hunt from ambush in the water. These reptiles keep at bay jungles and coastal zones on different continents, where they hunt both small, fast impalas and large bulls and antelopes. In South America, the coolest predator of this cold-blooded family is the black caiman. It's more aggressive, stronger, and larger than most alligators. But there is an animal that can easily throw a black caiman from the top of the food pyramid. This jaguar is one of the most unusual predatory mammals in the world. They're spoken of as panthers with superpowers. Inferior to bears, lions, and tigers in size, jaguars are much superior to the competitors in bite force. So superior that a jaguar can run out on a black caiman in a frontal attack and just grab him by the scruff of its neck like a kitten. A huge and powerful reptile that can break a deer's leg with one bite is simply paralyzed. The jaguar's fangs grab with such force that not only is the caiman not able to give a decent rebuff, it can't even move its head. The crocodile is just in shock. He clearly thought that with his size and strength, he should not have to hide from anyone. Well, this was a mistake. The jaguar strains its steel muscles and carries off the caiman right into the thickets, which weighs almost as much as the predatory cat itself. Pay attention. It seems that the jaguar is hardly making any effort at all. Jaguars quite often hunt caimans and other dangerous reptiles, which keep 99% of the other animal species in the region at bay. At the same time, the jaguar often fights with this dangerous and ferocious enemy right in the water, which says a lot about the impressive capabilities of the spotted beast. The caiman in the water gets an advantage in maneuverability, whereas the jaguar's paws must overcome the resistance of the water. But this does not change the outcome of most fights. Their lightning-fast reaction allows the jaguars to dodge and grasp the caiman. Also, their phenomenal strength allows them to literally throw their enemy ashore, after which their armored scales are opened even in the most protected places. The battle with an adult black caiman requires the jaguar to exert maximum strength, but the advantage is usually still with the cat. Powerful blows with their paws confuse the enemy, and the pressure and speed of the attack give little chance to effectively defend, escape, or even more so to attack in response. In addition to the crushing force of its jaws, the crocodile has another advantage. They have a specific hunting technique. Perhaps it appeared due to the fact that the teeth of the crocodiles, like other reptiles, are all the same. There are no incisors or canines or teeth for chewing. A crocodile can only grab and tear off pieces of food and then swallow them whole. Now, although he can twist at a fairly large angle, the neck muscles are very strong, sometimes it's not enough to tear off a piece of food. The crocodiles have another way of doing things. The reptile grabs its target and then presses its paws to the body and rotates around its axis. This tactic looks especially brutal when crocodiles are fighting among themselves. This way of eating has become a weapon. Many crocodiles use this rotation for brutal reprisals with prey that turn out to be too strong to be quickly dragged to the bottom and drowned. Even if the resistance is very strong and the victim of the attack breaks out, the rotation injures the opponent so much that his chances of survival almost disappear. Interestingly, crocodiles use this technique not only for hunting but also for showdowns with their own kind. The effectiveness of this method also lies in the fact that even if the enemy's skin can't be broken, the bones and joints are destroyed. The real issue here is that a more determined crocodile has just broken its opponent's leg. But the rotation does not have a 100% success rate. This crocodile clearly overestimated this technique when he decided to use it on a most ordinary zebra. First, he grabbed the victim, and when he realized that the zebra was very strong, he began to spin. The first turn broke the animal's leg. Now the zebra is stuck in the water, so the crocodile made a second turn. The ungulate did the only thing that it could to save its limb. It spun around together with the crocodile. This made it possible to avoid new damage, but the crocodile didn't let go. Other reptiles began to swim up to join the fight. The zebra desperately escaped. As the crocodiles were almost celebrating their victory, something unexpected happened. It wasn't enough for the crocodile to just cling to the injured leg of the zebra. The predator thought that it was necessary to finish off the victim. It swam up to the zebra's head to grab her by the nose and drown her. But this was a mistake. The zebra at the last moment, despite the pain, managed to dodge and bite the crocodile under the jaw. The reptile was in shock. She reflexively turned around and offered her powerful armored back to the zebra to retreat and recover. Another mistake. The zebra stuck its teeth in there too. Surprisingly, this cooled the crocodile's ardor and forced him to retreat. As you can see, its skin remained intact and the zebra's teeth couldn't pierce it, but the predator's resolve faltered for another reason: pain. Zebra teeth are flat and thick. When this animal grazes, it doesn't just cut off the plant food, it grinds it. That is, zebra teeth do not work like scissors, but like a powerful press that simply grinds the plants. Zebras eat not only soft grass, but also the most unpretentious, tough, and hard savanna plants. Therefore, the bite force of this animal is quite enormous. This is not enough to cause serious damage to the crocodile, but the pain he experienced, well, the predator will remember it for a long time. Unfortunately, with a broken leg, even celebrating its escape, the zebra is still in trouble. She won't be able to follow the herd. Even if she gets out of the water and avoids the other crocodiles, when she leaves her group, hyenas or lions will certainly find her. However, who knows? Let us know in the comments. Tigers are cautious and usually prudent hunters. They try to avoid unnecessary battles with other carnivores, so they don't cross paths with crocodiles as often as lions do. But the tiger isn't going to just give its prey to anyone. You see how the striped cat was able to overwhelm a huge ungulate. The tiger dealt with him and began dragging its victim through the shallow water. Can you imagine what power this huge predator has if he can carry this bull through the water with his teeth almost without difficulty? I mean, you have to admit it, messing with the tiger is a very bad idea. Unfortunately, the crocodile does not think so. He sees its target and attacks rapidly. Perhaps he thought he could scare the tiger and take away his lunch without a fight. Or maybe he hoped that he could catch a competitor by surprise and eat them both the cat and its prey. In any case, the crocodile's plan failed, and the tiger attacked the enemy in response. It is easy to see that this crocodile is a full-grown, powerful individual, which is about 1.5 to 2 times longer than the tiger. His head is twice as big as the tiger's skull, and his armored back seems impenetrable, not only for some claws, but even for bullets. In addition, the crocodile is able to attack rapidly even on land, and even more so in shallow water. The advantages are on the side of the reptile, but there's only one nuance. The tiger is the strongest wild cat on the planet. Males can weigh more than 1/4 ton, and all of this is steel-tight muscles that the predator uses for giant jumps and crushing blows to its prey. Like many other big cats, tigers often strangle their victim by squeezing its trachea with their fangs. But in addition, they often break the neck of their prey, even if it's twice as large as the predator itself. No contest. If you can break a bull's neck with one movement, a fight with a crocodile is not going to scare you. However, the main thing is that although the jaws of the crocodile are stronger than the jaws of the tiger, the cat has one more important advantage: dexterity. For all of its power, the tiger remains an elegant beast with very fast reaction. Now you can see one of the most impressive scenes of battle between tigers and their predatory competitors, where the striped beast uses their strength to the fullest. He literally straddles the crocodile. The reptile should be given its due. It bends very quickly, it seems, just a little bit more, and it will be able to grab the enemy by its paw and pull it off its back to finish it off. But the tiger always gets away from the blow. He suppresses the crocodile, reacting in time to every movement of its opponent. It seems that the tiger itself changes its weight, and then it flies over its enemy to dodge the throw, and then it becomes super heavy and nails the crocodile to the ground. But this battle is not a chaotic clash between two mighty predators. One of them has a plan, and this is the smarter tiger, who, due to its intelligence, was able to win in such a difficult duel. He realized that the scales on the lower part of the crocodile's body are much more vulnerable than on top. Therefore, the tiger caught the enemy during an attempt to attack and was able to grab the crocodile by its neck from below, at the vulnerable point. Then the tiger just seems to slide off of him, but in fact he uses his own weight to turn the crocodile over just a little bit more, just enough to finish it off, and as a result, the victory belongs to the striped champion. However, crocodiles are not afraid of tigers at all. On the contrary, here is another case when a reptile tried to take away its prey from the cat. Moreover, the crocodile acted as brutally as possible. He noticed that the tiger was still struggling with the herbivore and trying to strangle him. The crocodile went into a frontal rapid attack. He aimed not only at the herbivore, but at the tiger itself. Perhaps the reptile was provoked by the sharp movements of the striped predator, or maybe by territorial instinct. What do you think? An interesting result of this confrontation. The tiger noticed the crocodile at the very last moment. He didn't seem to have a chance to dodge, but don't underestimate him. Thanks to the natural flexibility and incredible strength of its paws, the tiger makes an acrobatic move without running and dodges the crocodile's jaws with a backflip. At the same time, the tiger practically does this trick from a prone position, while the boar was trying to break out of its grip all of this time. The cat is quite the practiced acrobat. But the most important thing is that the tiger did not let go of its victim, and all this time continued to strangle it. And when the tiger did a somersault, he landed on his feet and finished off the boar, no longer taking his eyes off the crocodile. How did he even feel that the crocodile was attacking him from behind? The reptile now has no chance to take away the prey from such a predator. The crocodile froze. Look at him, he's in shock. And so are we, to be honest. This crocodile struck the perfect blow. He swam stealthily up to the herd of buffaloes and grabbed one of them right by the head. If a massive half-ton creature could still pull its leg out of its grip, then freeing its head is a much more difficult task. The bulls are almost in a panic. The crocodile attacked so suddenly and sharply that the rest of the buffaloes retreated. The victim resists desperately, but the crocodile's grip is stronger than a vice. In addition, this reptile is very large. She is heavy and strong just by herself, but also rests her paws on the bottom and pulls down. The buffalo fights, and he has a powerful neck. He rests his feet, but loses foot by foot with every minute of their struggle. The crocodile's goal is to drown the bull. To do this, the reptile lowers its head, which is just in her jaws. Unfortunately, the reptile underestimated how long the bull can hold its breath. He didn't just suffocate in spite of all the crocodile's efforts, and as a result, the predator had to release its victim. The bull is exhausted, wounded, but alive, and lies in shallow water while the crocodile has to retreat because the herd is returning to the shore and can intercede for its fellow. Unexpectedly for the predator, his perfect attack failed due to the stubbornness and will to live of a strong beast.